Okay guys, for those of you who are not aware who I am, my name's Chris. I live in Ypres, I'm an Englishman, and I'm a residential guide. And my job is to take people around the battlefields and to teach them what happened here during the Great War. This area you've come today is known as Essex Farm, Commonwealth War Cemetery and Dressing Station. I'm going to give you the information on what happened to your nation's dead, certainly during the Great War and also in World War II. And then we're going to see why this venue is very famous today. Regarding the Polish dead, your men did not fight here in the Ypres salient, the area of this battlefield, but they were infused inside the French Foreign Legion. Legions of Polish men fought on the Allied side here on the Western Front and also on the Eastern Front. But the ones that fought here fought inside the French Foreign Legion at a place called Neuville St. Vaast down by Vimy Ridge. You have a Polish memorial there today. Your dead are scattered throughout the area in various cemeteries. Many of them are missing. Most of the Polish dead appear on missing memorials. They have no known grave. The same as the Czechs. Your Polish memorial is alongside the Czechoslovak memorial. Both the Czechs and the Poles have a close military history. You fought side by side within the French Foreign Legion in World War I. Your Polish memorial stands alongside the Czechoslovak memorial today. I know this, I have a Czech wife. My Czech wife drags me down to that memorial very often to pay respects to her fallen and your fallen. She's very proud of her connection with Poland. In World War II, General Maczek's Polish Independent Armoured Division that liberated Ypres was infused with Czech soldiers. Likewise, you have several memorials in the area. Your soldiers who fell in battle here in World War II were originally buried in the town cemetery, Ypres Extension Cemetery, just past the Meningate Memorial. In 1947, the Polish soldiers were removed and taken to Lommel on the Dutch-Belgian border, where they still rest in peace today. That's what happened to the Polish dead. For us Brits, our dead litter the battlefields here today. When the Great War came to an end, Belgium turned round to its allies and said, "Can you please help us? We need to rebuild our country. It's shattered, but we can't rebuild it. It's just full of cemeteries everywhere. There are cemeteries after cemeteries after cemeteries. We need some help." First of all, France stepped forward. Don't worry about us, we repatriate. We're going to dig up our dead and take them back to France and hand them back to their families and their communities. Spare a thought for France. France lost 1.5 million men in the Great War. 1.5 million just from the French nation alone. They really got hit hard. They dig up their dead and they take them back to France. They would leave one cemetery to show that they were here. They would not be airbrushed out of history. The French cemetery is about 2 miles that way. It's called St. Charles de Bateza. It's the only dedicated French cemetery in the salient being the battlefields here, to ensure that their nation would not be airbrushed out of history. The US of A steps forward. They had an action on the Messines Ridge in September 1918. Their dead were buried locally after the war, taken to the only American cemetery today. It's called Flanders Fields, it's at Velvicum. The rest repatriated. Great Britain and its Dominion representatives stepped forward. No repatriation for us. Our men fought for this. They paid with their blood for this, and they will stay here with their comrades who fell with them. Belgium said, "We will allow that, but we want some help. Can you please dig up your dead in the little cemeteries and bring them into the bigger cemeteries? This will reduce the number by half. You have some cemeteries on sensitive land that we want to build on. Can you push those off to one side? But when they're in place, we will honour your war dead forever. We are a very grateful nation." You will see this in 3 languages. On the cross of sacrifice over there in the corner, you will read it in the 2 major languages of Belgium, Dutch and French, and of course this is a British Commonwealth War Cemetery in English, and it simply tells you that this plot of land is a free gift from the Belgian people to honour our war dead. And the most important word on that word, on that cross of sacrifice, is perpetuity, forever. This will never be a warehouse, it will never be a housing estate, it will always be a cemetery for our nation's dead. They are looked after by the Commonwealth War Graves Commission. They are the people who look after our dead. It is paid for by Great Britain, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, the countries of the Commonwealth today. The Commonwealth War Graves Commission was all British soldiers after the Great War, men who never went home, who stayed on the battlefield to look after their fallen comrades. Today, they are nationals of the country that the cemeteries are in. Most of the gardeners today are Belgian. This is a British Commonwealth War Cemetery in Belgium, and they look after our dead. Very special little place. We have 170 of these around the town of Ypres. No repatriation. We did have one dead soldier repatriated. Anyone tell me who he is? Every country would have one. One dead soldier would be brought back with full military honours. He's got a name, not a personal name.
The unknown
soldier or the unknown warrior. He is the only repatriated dead soldier. When you go back to Scotland, England, wherever, and you see your churchyard filled with Great War soldiers, don't say what's Chris on about, we got dead soldiers all over the place. Yes, you have. They are not repatriated dead. Who are they? If there's no repatriation of the dead, who are those dead Great War soldiers in your churchyards and your communal cemeteries back home? The wounded, men wounded in battle, go back through the medical system, get back to Great Britain, Australia, New Zealand, whatever. If they died of wounds, they are given to their parents, families for burial, not sent back to the front for burial. That is what happened to our nation's dead, and they still rest here today. The youngest soldier in this cemetery, he rests in peace about 20 yards away from you. His name is Valentine Joe Strudewick. Valentine was killed in action, aged 14 years, 11 months of age. He's the youngest battle casualty in this cemetery. He is not the youngest soldier in the salient. The youngest soldier in the salient is a guy called Tom Condon. Tom was killed in action, aged 13 years, 10 months of age. The oldest we have is 62, Private William Spate, aged 62. You had to be 19 to 40 to serve in a combat zone in World War I. If this being the case, how on earth have we got 14-year-olds and 62-year-olds? Anyone tell me?
Lied about it.
Volunteers and something else.
They lied.
They lied. They lied through their teeth. Why?
They wanted to fight for their country.
Patriotic fervour. True patriots in those days. Big time. And there's another reason.
Medical people?
No, not medical. Pals, yeah, that's a little bit, but there's something very big that's going on at this time in British history that is not there today. Okay, I'll tell you. For any of you Scots lads here, you'd have left school at 12 years of age. You share a bed with 6 brothers. You have one pair of decent shoes between the lot of you.
Poverty.
And you share them out on a Sunday to go to church. You've never been out of your village. You get one meal a day and one change of clothing. And you hate your boring job. And you've never been out of your village. All of a sudden, Kitchener, Lord Kitchener, asks for 100,000 volunteers. He gets 1 million from around the British Commonwealth world. Young men, old men, middle-aged men. The young are stealing identities, lying through their teeth to get into this fantastic adventure that's unfolding in Europe. Oh, wow, a uniform, 3 meals a day, pay, their own bed, and a great adventure. The war will be over by Christmas, we will be covered in medals, and the girls will be all over us. Hey, I'll have a bit of that. I'm a bit old today, but back in that time, too true. So hardly surprising, the young guys were lying through their teeth and stealing identities to get into this massive adventure. What were the old dudes like me doing? They were downsizing, dyeing their hair, pumping out, knocking 10 years off their age. The oldest soldier in this cemetery is just under 50. The old were stealing identities to get in. The young were uploading their ages to get in. They were all doing it. And when they got here, the war wasn't over by Christmas. It would go on for 4 years, and the death toll would be gigantic. It would remove a generation from Great Britain and many other nations before the killing was over.